So here we are in beautiful Mull, and here is Oliver, my beloved.
Making seitan.
Making seitan. So do you want to tell us about this seitan?
So seitan, wheat protein, excellent meaty plant protein food, and it's made from strong white wheat flour. Strong means it's got more protein in, and right now I'm making a dough from it, just like making a bread dough, and then I will wash the starch out of it to leave a nice ball of protein.
How will you wash the starch out of it?
So just by kneading it underwater repeatedly.
Oh, okay, so we'll maybe do a bit of videoing of that in a second then.
And then once you've washed all the starch out, which you can either throw away or you can keep a bit of it for thickening stews, then you're left with a ball of protein, which is not very tasty, so you then cook it in shoyu or tamari with some ginger, bay leaves, kelp, whatever else you want to put some flavouring into it, for about 40 minutes, and then you have your balls of seitan.
Okay, so that's been in the water for how long?
So I just covered it with water for 15-20 minutes to let the protein molecules all stick together.
Zena's interested.
And now I've put some water in the pan, and I'm gently massaging it, keeping it all together to gradually wash the starch out. And you can see the water becoming white, more and more white. And then when a lot of starch has come out into the water, I'll pour the water away and then repeat with fresh water and keep going over about 10-15 minutes until I'm just left with a ball of protein.
And how many times would you change the water in 10 to 15 minutes?
It might take 6, 7 changes, 8 changes of water. But the trick is to keep the ball all together, not let it break up, so you don't pour away any bits. And the first lot of water you pour away you can actually keep, because there's a lot of starch and it's very good for thickening stews and sauces and so on. It seems a shame to waste that starch. It's just like using corn flour or kuzu or arrowroot. So
okay, thank you. We'll come back to you in a second. Okay, so
I'm pouring away the starchy water.
we've saved some in that cup, yeah?
Yep, and the starch will settle down. And fresh water to cover it, and massage it again, get more starch out, and keep doing this 6, 7, 8 times until you massage it and no more starch comes out, and hopefully you're just left with a nice sticky ball of protein. That is, if the flour was a good flour and fresh.
We got this flour from the local shop, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was a Dove's, which often works well. Occasionally, if the flour is not fresh, then it doesn't work, and you massage it in the water, and you end up with nothing but a bit of sludge. Oh. Which is very disappointing.
So let's hope that doesn't happen, because we're going to be living on this for the next 4 days,
well, that's true. That's all we've got. This is all we've got to eat for the next 4 days. So it better work, hadn't it? So what I've got at the moment is quite a nice sticky ball of the wheat protein. A lot of starch has come out. I'm going to do one more wash, and probably this time it's going to be just only a tiny bit of starch that's going to come out. And then it's going to be ready for cooking. So if you just want to go on videoing for a minute, I'm going to keep kneading it in the water, and you can see now it's a nice sticky ball, and keep kneading it under the water. The tricky thing is to keep it all together. When you're massaging it about halfway through, the ball can start falling to pieces. And you have to just gently scrape it all together. Okay, so this water, not very starchy, So that's pretty well done. So what I'm going to do is to just massage it a few more times, squeeze any excess water out of it so that it becomes more dense, and then when we cook it, it's going to make a firmer seitan. So you can see there's quite a bit of water come out of it. I'll just do that once more, and then it's going to be ready to cook it, which we'll explain how to do. Okay, so now we need to cook the seitan. It's a ball of protein, but it's not very tasty, so we need to get some flavour into it and cook it. So I've got a pan of simmering water here, and I'm going to put in a piece of kelp, or in Japanese kombu. For some nice flavour, I'm going to put in some bay leaves, and then in a minute I'm going to cut up some slices of ginger and put those in. And then you have to put in quite a generous amount of either shoyu or tamari, because this is going to be the main flavouring. And then I've got this one big ball. I'm going to break it into some smaller balls. Again, squeeze any excess water out. Pop that in the pan, so I can get maybe 4 balls out of this. And then these balls actually will expand quite a bit in the pan, so we end up with a good amount of seitan. This was about half a bag of flour. What are the bags of flour now? 1.5 kilos, I think. So this is about 3/4 kilo of flour. So I've got 4 balls out, but these will roughly double in size. So we'll end up with quite a good amount of seitan from that. So I've now cooked the seitan for about 40 minutes, and you can see that those balls I put in have got quite a lot bigger, have a nice dark colour. Here are the slices of ginger, just to show you those, since I forgot to slice them up, just quite thin slices of ginger. You can see the water's quite dark with the shoyu, and that's made the seitan balls quite dark. So what we can do now is store these seitan balls in the fridge and eat them over the next few days. So I could, for example, cut that in half, 2 slices, and squeeze some of the water out with some kitchen towel or a tea towel, and then fry them on both sides with a little bit of shoyu, balsamic, whatever you want seasoning wise. It would be absolutely delicious. Or we can cut it into cubes and put it in a stew. Again, you might start off by frying it, so there's some oil with it, and making it really rich. So so we've got 4 balls out of about 3/4 kilo of flour. So this is a very cheap food. If you buy it in jars, it's quite nice, but for this you would pay about £8, 2 jars, about £8, and this has probably cost about £1. The flour, less than that, but by the time you put some shoyu in, it bumps the price up a bit. And you can see we've got this lovely dark liquid. I would not waste that. I would use that as soup stock, or to add to stews, something like that, so that gets used up as well. And that's how to make seitan, which you can do when you're camping as well as at home.